From Broadway to the big screen, costume designer Paul Tazewell is once again in the spotlight.
Yeah, he has a second Oscar nomination this year for Wicked. Cindy Hsu spoke with Tazewell about his styles and his priorities.
I know about popular.
Paul Tazewell is in the spotlight with an Oscar nomination as costume designer for Wicked.
Having that kind of recognition is really, it's very heartwarming.
The movie starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande has set box office records, and now some of the focus is on Tazewell's stunning swirls, pleats, and vibrant fabrics that bring the clothing to life.
So how many costumes would you say were made for the film?
Thousands.
Wow.
And we would have days of background where we had crowd scenes that were about 500 people.
Like the Emerald City scenes, it took about 150 artisans to create the iconic images.
We were setting up this world that was like going into Times Square, but the Times Square of Oz.
I sat down with Tazewell at the Civilian Hotel's Rosevale kitchen to talk about his work.
Now, I've heard you say that the pink bubble dress was the big dress for Ariana Grande's character.
Yeah. My initial inspiration was the Glinda of the 1939 Wizard of Oz film that Billy Burke wore. And as a character...
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
That is the icon of Glinda that I've always had up until now, and now I can replace it, or at least put it adjacent to Ariana Grande as Glinda, but has that old school fairy princess magic. Elphaba as a contrast, and again going back to the 1939 film with the Wicked Witch of the West, played by Margaret Hamilton. So Elphaba's silhouette throughout is informed by that. You know, it's a corseted, very restrictive silhouette. As a designer, I'm thinking about the backstory, of these characters that we know and love.
The road to success has been paved for decades. Tazewell has 28 Broadway credits under his belt. His first show was in 1996 with Bringin' the Noise, Bringin' the Funk. So far, he has 9 Tony nominations and a coveted Tony Award in 2016 for Hamilton. Broadway's Death Becomes Her is show number 28. Clothing is essential in the storytelling.
When I think about how I design, I'm always imagining what I would want to see and what is exciting and beautiful for me.
His extensive background in theater has influenced how he visualizes costumes for film.
So working with clothing, developing character, allowing for music and choreography to be a part of that experience.
Awards and accolades aside, Tazewell is humble and says working on meaningful projects is a priority.
Is there any piece that you've done, something that's really touched your heart personally?
Wicked is huge, as far as an important story for me, because it centers on a person of color and the marginalization of that person.
Cindy Hsu, CBS News, New York.
The costumes in that movie really are stunning, and not just the main characters, like everyone.
Oh, right. Through the Emerald City, you can imagine how many he had to do. And if he doesn't get that Academy Award, I think they need a recount on that one. That was spectacular stuff.
It seems like it's a shoe-in, that's for sure.
We shall see.